So the topic of today's sermon is making a turn. This morning we were listening to a story about one of the richest men in the world back in the Buddhist time. His name was Mendaka Sethi. And they were trying to tell us why he became so rich in that life. And they told a story that in the past he was a man who had a wife, had a servant, had sons and stuff. He had 5 people in his family, right? And they lived in a certain area, and suddenly, at first they were all wealthy and everybody was happy. And they had a drought, a famine, where the food was going to be no more food in the whole area. And so when there was no more food, everyone went hungry. So everyone left the area, and he was there by himself with his family. They decided to stay. And they stayed for as long as they could. Finally, his wife says, "Husband, we have enough rice for one bowl for each one of us 5 people. What do you want to do? Do you want to split it into 2 half bowls so we have a half meal today and a half meal tomorrow? Or do you want to eat this as your meal?" Mendaka thought about it. He says, "Well, I think I want to have one. If this is going to be my last meal on earth, I want it to be a full meal. So let's just have a full meal, and this will be our last meal before we die." And so they made one meal and got ready to eat it. Time out. Over in the mountains far away, there was a bunch of Pancheka Buddhas, kind of like our Buddha. There was 500 Buddhas who were in the mountains meditating. And when they came out of their meditation, they decided, we need to eat. They thought, where can we go where somebody will offer us food and they will get the maximum benefit? And they saw that Mendaka and his family have an opportunity to create tremendous good karma, good credit, right? So one of them went to Mendaka and stood in front of Mendaka with his bowl in his hands. Now Mendaka looked at the monk who was standing in front of him. The monk was beautiful. And Mendaka thought, I'm hungry, and this is going to be my last meal on earth. If I eat it, I will be full. But tomorrow or the next day, I will die. I will have no more food. But why am I in this situation? Why am I so poor? It must be because in the past, I have never given charity to others. That's why I'm poor now. Well, now that I have the opportunity to give charity, should I protect myself for one day, or should I prepare for my long future? And to him, that is where his mind made a turn. He could have turned left and said, eat it, survive, and then die. But he chose to not eat it and give it away. And so he gave that meal to the monk. And this part makes me feel emotional, but he scooped up half the rice and put it in the bowl. And then the monk took the lid and covered his bowl and said, that's enough. Save the rest for yourself. And then Mendaka said, no, it's so rare for me to have an opportunity to give alms. Please don't limit my alms. Let me give the full amount. Let me give everything I have. And so Mendaka gave him everything he had. And he was so happy, but hungry, but so happy. And the monk flew away. And he brought that one bowl of rice to all 500 monks. And because of their power, everyone had enough food to eat. So Mendaka's 5 bowls of rice. I'm sorry, I didn't finish the story. After he gave his bowl, the other 4 members of the family saw and they did the same thing. The same idea. Do we want to eat it or do we want to follow the leader? And they all did the same thing. And so they took those 5 bowls of rice, went to the mountains, all 500 had rice. Now here's the interesting thing. After that, before he left, Mendaka made a wish. Because of my offering here today, may I never have to experience hunger like this ever again. May I never experience famine and drought and lack of food. But not only that, Mendaka was the kind of person that loved other people. He also said, may the people around me also never have to encounter these things. And after that, the monk left. Guess what happened after that? His wife went to the kitchen, took the empty bowl of rice, washed it, and then put it and covered the lid. And so later on, they were so hungry. And Mendaka said, wife, can you go check if there's anything to eat? We're so hungry. And they went and she said, I know there's no food left. but let's just check and then tell him there's nothing, so I'm not just saying it. She walked over to the bowl. She opened it, and there was full of rice and full of food. She was like, husband, look, there's full of food. And they all took some out and they ate it, and it didn't run out. So guess what these good people did? They went and called all the villagers, all the people that used to live here, and said, come back, we have this bowl of rice and they just started feeding everybody. And there's a lot more to the story, and we can tell it later. But I want to tell you this point, which is everyone in our life will encounter problems. We will get sick. We will have people we love get sick. We will be hungry. We'll be rich and then poor. We will have our hearts broken. So many things will happen in life. In each one of those situations, instead of looking at it as a curse, a bad thing, you have a chance to make a turn. Are you going to turn and drive down the path of depression, sadness, like wallowing in guilt, or feeling bad about yourself, or screaming that the life is unfair? Or are you going to turn the other way and see it as an opportunity for something? I can't tell you what the something is, but the wise and the smart will always find out what they can do in any situation. Even in the darkest times, the saddest times, there's something that can be done. There's something that can be learned. There's something that can be realized. And that's what I'm saying to you is, which turn do you make? Are you going to turn down the mountain and go through sadness? Or are you going to turn to the other way and learn something and become better? It's no one's choice. It's your choice only. Make the right choice, and that way you will guide your own life down the path you want to go. Sadhu.